when did you start your poetry center, or is it a school? Tell me a little bit more about that.
It's so I also have to be very honest right now. My businesses have a very parasitic relationship. The the pronunciation is funding the poetry stuff because right now it's I believe it. Like at some point we have to take a risk, right? At some point
Yeah.
we have to go in a direction where we're like, hey, I'm sailing to this island. I don't even know if there is an island, but I'm going there. If you want to come along, I think it's going to be worth it. Because again, people have a lot of conceptions about poetry and I want to change them, but I need more social proof. I already have it for myself. So for instance, in my communication business, like, I'm actively incorporating poems or using poems in at least 30% of my classes, directly as devices. And it's fun because some students actually start writing and start doing like it's a whole other thing. But going back to my poetry path, so originally I was following the traditional path. In the poetry world, there's a path you often take. There's the traditional path, which is you get your credentials. It's all credential building and social proof, right? So you need to get publications. You get a small book that's called a chapbook. After that, you get the full length book. You get the MFA, so a Master's of Fine Arts in Writing. You get the professor job, which is going to involve, moving schools every 3 or 4 years, trying to get tenure, even though no one's offering tenure anymore. Like that's the path, the traditional path. And one of the things I found with it is it's very much putting your future in other people's hands.
Yeah. Hmm.
And one of the things that I started questioning was, do I still want to do that?
Yeah.
What happened? I had this chapbook manuscript I was sending out to journals, and one of the things I think it didn't. I forget the name of the stages. There's stages before action. So there's first like there's the discovery of the problem, but very often that's not the moment where you actually act. But I
Yeah.
think that this is the moment that kind of started instigating, or pushing me to think about alternatives. I had this chapbook manuscript that I sent out to different competitions because that's usually what in poetry you have to do. You have to send poems out to contests, and it was a finalist twice. So it's final. So that means it's beating out 1,000 other manuscripts, and it's arriving at the final 10 twice in the span of months. And it got rejected both times, so I can put it down at, it made the short list. Great. It was a finalist. Great. And I looked closer at who the judges were for both those contests. It was the same judge for both contests. So in the span of 4 or 5 months, the same judge saw my manuscript twice and rejected it twice. And I'm very thankful for it now because it made me realize, so here's this manuscript that again, it's at the top of the pile consistently, that because one person didn't choose it is not out in the world. So I'm letting one person decide how far my art goes.
Yeah.
I don't like that. I don't like it.
Hmm.
If other people want to play by that system, I get it. That's cool. You do you. But I was like, how can I take control? And since that moment, I don't do traditional submissions anymore. I don't do contests. If people ask me for stuff, that's fine. But soliciting is very different than, being solicited, so I'm okay with people coming to ask for stuff, but I'm not going to send you things. I'm not going to pay you to read my work. I'm not going to wait for you to reject it.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of gatekeeping that happens, and there's a system.
Yeah.
And so the poetry business very much is trying to teach people, if you want to put your art out there on your own terms, this is what it could look like.